Hello everybody and welcome to Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. Harry Kane has said that he wants to leave Tottenham. Big breaking news. I think it's always been a possibility that Harry Kane in his later 20s would show some ambition to want to win titles elsewhere. He's certainly not going to win them at Spurs, and I think with Mourinho leaving, that was probably the last one after Pochettino where Harry Maguire would think, you know what, I've got a chance of winning something. I think it's sad that he wants to leave Spurs, and I think for Spurs fans it's a big loss. He's a captain. He's the best striker probably in Europe, to be fair. And if he wants to leave Spurs, that's a big kick in the teeth for Spurs to say that, look, I don't believe that I can win things at this football club. But if I'm honest, I don't think he can. Who's going to come in as the next Spurs manager? Will there be money to spend? You can understand why Harry Kane's asking to leave, but I think the interesting thing here is, how much of a bargaining tool does Harry Kane have? I've mentioned before the golden cage that these players live in, where they sign these big, massive contracts, and then in the current market, it's very, very difficult for them to sign. For somebody else, 125 million at least. Will he go for less than 100? I don't know. But what has apparently happened, according to Sky, is he's told Tottenham he wants to leave the club. City, Man United, Chelsea have been in touch with his representatives. His preference is to stay in the Premier League and have the situation sorted before the Euros. It's going to take a very, very big offer. As a Manchester United fan, well, I'll be talking about it on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. But yeah, I'm sure United will be interested. Man City, you know what? I think they might be interested. I think he might well appeal to Pep Guardiola, because what he has shown this season is, as a goal scorer, he's fantastic, but his build-up play is superb as well. Chelsea would be all over Harry Kane. All over Harry Kane. I mean, imagine Chelsea with Harry Kane. They would be absolutely phenomenal. I would say that they'd probably be title contenders next year. But would he go from Spurs to Chelsea? Will Spurs let him stay in the Premier League? Would Real Madrid have a say in this? Probably not if they're looking at Haaland. Where else could he go? I think Harry Kane saying he wants to leave Spurs is interesting, but where is he going to go? Get in the comments. Where do you think Harry Kane's going to go? Because to me, I think if Cavani had left, United probably would go and spend silly money on Harry Kane. Will City go and spend over 100 million? They've never done it before. Chelsea probably would, but would he go to Chelsea? I don't see him going abroad. I know Spurs have got a good relationship with Real Madrid. I think he'd be a very good player for Real Madrid. But would they spend that sort of a money? And I think this is the thing with Harry Kane. He hasn't got 1 year left on his contract. He's got a few years left on his contract. And in any market, he's got to be worth well over £100 million. Who is going to spend over £100 million on Harry Kane in this market? And Harry Kane saying he wants to leave, does he now... Where does this go? Because he's a Spurs lad. He supports Spurs, apparently. He's a Spurs lad. And to say I want to leave, that will upset the fans. He is, a Spurs lad, as I said. Doesn't mean it can't be turned around. Wayne Rooney did it, He did do it, and it did turn around. And maybe Spurs will go out and get a top manager. Maybe it's a threat from Harry Kane. Maybe it's, look, if you're going to bring in a Graham Potter and not spend any money, I want to go. If you're going to bring in a top manager and spend some money, maybe I can turn my mind around. But it's a difficult one. It's an intriguing one, and it's definitely been put out to the press, from the camp that he wants to go. Maybe Spurs have put it out there as well with Harry Kane's blessing, but it's definitely come from Harry Kane. Harry Kane wants to leave Spurs. Big decision, big statement to make. I don't know what Spurs fans will think about it. Maybe they'll feel it's expected. Maybe they think that money actually would be better served in building a team now for somebody new. Maybe it's time to move on from Harry Kane. What I would say about Harry Kane, though, is this. Whoever gets him ends up with one of the best strikers in the world, as I've just said. But as a Manchester United fan, I do have my concerns. And what I would say is, no matter who you are, my concern about Harry Kane is that as somebody who admires him and somebody who is very aware of his talents, I'm also very aware that he does seem to pick up a couple of injuries every season where he's out for a month or two. Well, that's only going to get worse as he gets older. And if you're spending over £100 million on a striker, you want that striker to play a lot. So I'd be intrigued as to what happens there. Manchester City had probably the Premier League's best striker in Sergio Aguero, and towards the end he was picking up injuries quite regularly. Do Manchester City want to go down that route? They definitely want a number 9. It's interesting. I think Man City have got to break the bank. I think Chelsea, which they've never done. They've never gone near £100 million. Chelsea will do it, but would Kane go from Spurs to Chelsea and turn his back on his loyalty to Spurs? Some would say he's doing that by leaving, but I don't. I think he's being ambitious. There's a difference between saying I want to go and going somewhere for ambition. There's a big difference between saying I want to go and I'm going to go to a big London rival. And yeah, obviously United. I mean, look, would PSG go for Harry Kane? They can certainly afford him. Would PSG go for Harry Kane? Would Harry Kane want to go to Paris? Would he want to go to Spain? Could they afford him? I think he'll stay in the Premier League, and it's interesting because I think the most logical one is probably the London one. But for this to happen elsewhere, Man City, they're going to have to spend a lot of money unless they're going to let him go for silly money. I don't know. But look, anyway, smash a like on the video. Get your comments in. Where is Harry Kane going to go? He's said to Spurs he wants to go. Now we've got a big transfer scramble for him. Or will it prompt Spurs to spend big and get a good manager in? I don't know. Is the damage done? I think when it goes public, it probably is. Where he's going to end up is going to be really intriguing. My guess is Chelsea suits him best, but that would mean signing for a rival. If he goes Man City, they're going to have to spend more than they've ever spent on one player. So, intrigued. I can't see that Real Madrid will have the money. I can't see Barcelona having the money. Let's see what happens. Get your comments in, smash a like, and make sure you subscribe.